Hello everybody, welcome to My Hero Academia, chapter number 364 review. This chapter is titled, Why We Wield Power. Now last time on the 364th chapter of My Hero Academia, we pretty much had some insight into what some certain characters think about how the world is being run currently. We had some things going with Skeptic, and at the end, we saw All For One's true form for the first time. And this chapter, we start off in a flashback with Dr. Ujiko Garaki talking about this quirk rewind drug that All For One had used on himself a little while ago, right? And pretty much the dialogue goes like this. Shigaraki stole those refined samples of the chemical the Shihai Hassaikai developed for destroying quirk factors. It came to me, and I wasted no time in trying to replicate it. Turns out the substance originated from a person's quirk. Ain't that a hoot? Like you're always saying, fate brings everything full circle. During the refining process, I started focusing on not the delta rounds, but the quirk's original effect. And I've got to say, my doomsday theory was right on the money. You only get one shot, a one and done. Assuming things go according to your plan, we will all get to walk free again. I'm betting it'll help make your dream come true. And, pretty much, we learn a lot from this in a way, right? First off, we know that, of course, this is Ares' rewind quirk that has been so prominent throughout the series, and we mainly learn that through the quirk factor of a quirk destroying factor, that Garaki was able to take out the original effect of the rewind to be able to rewind All For One, and being that you'll only get one shot, being that he will get rewinded into nothing, but by that point have destroyed everything, and he'll already be alive in Shigaraki again, so it won't really matter, right? But then we cut to what All For One has to say about this. And he's like, and just in case I'm not around when you get out of the big house, I'm leaving it all in this safe house along with the data. Allow me to speak my mind. Your voice, your eyes, your smile bring joy to my heart. And if I only had a one wish, that you would be filled with hate, right? As All For One, we see him pick up the drug and everything in his old mask as we cut towards the present, as the All For One is actually in his form with his white hair, which I'm guessing is white based we saw it on like that volume or the Shonen Jump magazine cover not too long ago, and it looked very white, right? But he's pretty much just there in all of his glory, and he says, "Be proud, Endeavor. I never thought you'd be one forcing me to play this card." As Endeavor just realizing he's rejuvenated. His body is back in prime condition, as we see Tsukuyomi and Jiro there, and they're just like, look, what has he done with little Ares' power, right? And as All For One goes to hit the ground, Hawks just tries to run after him, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is bad, as All For One is sort of just going down and thinking, my body feels light as silk, as he goes up behind some unnamed hero, just grabs him by the neck and just steals their quirk, as he's just thinking, as All For One just takes off her cape and just destroys her, and is like, I'll take the cape too while I'm at it. Fighting in the buff is hardly my style, right? Hawks goes in, swoops in, saves the unnamed hero, right? And what's his face? All For One says, this is a bit of rewinding, will be the end of me. I'm ultimately doomed to vanish now, but my dream will live on as I pass the baton to Tomura Shigaraki. The only task left to me is to rescue him from your brazen trap. And Hawk's there, and he's just like, oh my gosh, he's literally killing himself at the point of defeating us. And he actually starts to say, your dream, huh? Something beyond sealing one for all? Mind filling me in for future reference? As All For One, just looking at Hawk, just walking around in a little turn around, just happy to be in his body again. He's just like, it's simple. I'm quite influenced by comics. The world always fears the big bad villain. Why do you think that is? And Hawk just retorts with, 'cause he does bad stuff? as All For One just comes again, and he's like, and what counts as bad stuff? In a world teeming with a myriad of cultures and values, bad stuff would be an act that universally makes the masses turn their noses up in disgust. An act that thwarts the future they envision. So I intend to thwart the future of the entire world. That is what I've always wished for. Right? And at this point, we cut over to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America, right? As we go into the presidential office, as we see Star and Stripes commander there, right? The one who sent the Tomat missiles for her to control and everything, and he's talking to the President of the United States, right? Apgar, I think was his name. He's like, this is the moment to strike. If we definitely eliminate Tomra now, the U.S. will face the danger eventually. And the President of the United States says, and how would we rein in this crisis? Unlike most others, our nation has already taken a half a step into the red zone, and you're to blame, Timothy Apgar. According to reports from the Quirk research agencies, Tomra is already beyond anything humanity can stop. An unknowable, untouchable entity capable of just about anything. You faced that monster and made it clear that we're his enemy via Star and the missiles. And Timothy is just like, you're saying we should appease him instead? Think about how we should let him rule over us? That is insanity, as the president just says, only to minimize casualties. We fell him before our decision strikes, as Timothy just comes again and he's like, give that monster even an inch and he'll take a mile. We'll be neutered, as the president just goes, Tim, this is for our nation's future, as Timothy stands up and just yells, we won't have a future. Your positions forced me to take this stance, yes? As we see Timothy go into his shirt and start to pull out a picture, right? As the two social service agents behind him just take out guns and like, hey there, easy guy, easy. As Timothy pulls out this picture, and he says, do you know what Star was really fighting for? Why do you think Cassie followed her idol's footsteps and died for it? I'm sure you haven't really forgotten. Children observe adults as they grow. Adults in turn support the children as they pass it forward, and so on to the next generation. Heroes have always wielded their power in the name of that cause. As we see, the picture he pulled out was the one that we've seen many times of Star and Stripe or Casey being held by All For One when All For One was in his time in America training and becoming a good hero, right? And while he's saying the last part, that heroes have always wielded their power in the name of that cause, we cut back over to the UA High in the sky as we see Bakugo again is just dead on the ground, right? And Genus is around him, and we see Edgeshot walking towards the both of them, right? And Genus is like, Edgeshot, as we see Shinya Kamihara himself, Edgeshot, start to fade into his twine as he says, yes, I am the ninja hero. There's no realm I can't infiltrate, and I have ample experience invading the bodies of others. This is no time to lie down and die, as we see his thread start to go into Bakugo's heart. And Edgeshot is just standing there and he yells, Miriko, do not go down quietly, as we see Miriko is still being attacked by Shigaraki, and Shigaraki just looks over and he's like, it's so pointless, as Edgeshot starts to yell again, should he tear you asunder, sink your teeth into his flesh, right? And he also just continues to yell, because Edgeshot the hero will not let this pass. This stopped heart belongs to a life that the world can't afford to lose. And Edgeshot continues to say, I am not too late. I shall replace what's missing and make it pump. As Genus is like, Kamihara, there's no coming back from this for you. As Edgeshot's just like, just so, I leave the rest in your capable hands Club President Hamekawa as he uses his Nimpo, 10,000 Sheep Pierce, Zenith, as he goes into Bakugo's heart, and he thinks, I will beat a boy's heart, as the chapter ends. So a few things there on the ending before I go through the chapter again. Pretty much we see Miriko start to break away from Shigaraki just doing everything, and this apparently gives us some insight that Best Genius and Edgeshot both went to UA at the same time, and were apparently good enough friends to be in the same club together, right? I'm guessing a hero fighting club. And so this is a really interesting development. I think we all knew that Bakugo was not going to end up dead. I mean, he's the tertiary lead character. You're not going to kill him off so easily, right? But the whole idea, which I think is really interesting, is having Edgeshot go in and pretty much being that he can link down to paper, that he will stay conscious enough to patch up Bakugo and then keep his heart beating, right? Pretty much becoming his heart, sort of like how Puchita becomes Denji's heart in Chainsaw Man in a way, right? I just think it's very interesting the way that Horikoshi took this, because I think we all knew that this was going to be the end idea, but just the way it happens is just very interesting, right? The all-for-one stuff at the beginning is alright. To be honest, I think my favorite part of the chapter may just be Timothy Apgar talking with the United States president, right? I really like his speech of, we won't have a future. The children observe the adults as they grow, and each other supports each other, and then until the next generation can't help them anymore, they will help as much as they can. I just think it's a really good message at the end of the day, and something that I think is very fair to say in this, and it leads very well into the whole Edgeshot and Bakugo thing, right? Well, it's not perfect. I think it is a very good resolution, right? But also, we've never really had anything with Edgeshot, and just having him come out and do this all of a sudden is just like, okay, and that'll work. But hey, that's what it is. I mean, Bakugo's about to be alive again, so just need to wait for Deku to show up now. I don't think anything else needs to happen. So yeah, that's my chapter review for this. Again, this is chapter 364, and I think it's a good chapter. I think it will be a lot better when we look at it from the end of this arc and the end of the series, of course, like most series are. But yeah, that's all I've got to say, and this is going to be Glowplasma231 out.